Hello World Genergy on the ground. Today we are going to dedicate this chapter to our high pressure water cleaners, these pressurized water equipment for cleaning public works machinery, cleaning agricultural machinery, cleaning of public road works. Well, that about the concrete mixer work. That is, they are machines that work in a gravel pit, that work in the field, that work anywhere. Why? Because Genergy equipment is autonomous equipment, as we do not have to plug them into the light, since we do it with our thermal engines. With our Genergy petrol engines, we can work anywhere. No matter where we are, it gives us that enormous freedom to clean, unclog pipes, etc. We are going to get into those details, but before getting into the matter, I want to leave you here a reflection. Look, we talk about education, we talk about educating our children, me when I'm one. Passionate about men who made stories in the past, the great scientists. And people like a lady named Yucca, who had a son, come to mind, because I always say that you don't educate with what you say, you don't even educate with what you do. Of course, it educates with what you are, since the child. In the first instance, he does not understand the language. The only thing he understands is the being of that person. And that is where the adult human being really begins to interact with the little one who is going to learn. And that mother called Yucca in the story, because she was a lady who could neither read nor write. But he says he was able to recite entire books from memory. A person with a privileged mind had manufactured it with chopsticks, sticks, etc. That is, he had made a device that by turning it on the handle, beat the eggs. That is, he had invented the mixer that will later be electric. And we're talking about Nikola Tesla's mom. I mean, why Nikola Tesla? Then who was it? Well, maybe, look, it makes my hair stand on end because I'm passionate about this type of thing. Really, what he had experienced at home is what he is going to be when he grows up. If we think about another man, I'm going to give only two examples because I can give you a lot and this would be long. But if we take, for example, that other character who lived in a little house where his mother was deaf-mute. And his father had invented what he called silent speech. That is, he had invented a language to communicate with the deaf-mutes, because this boy living that experience is also going to work, and they are going to found a school to teach the deaf-mutes to speak. And a little later, this guy develops and invents the telephone, Alexander Graham Bell. Okay, Alexander Bell in one origin, and his father gives him the other surname on a birthday. The other inscription will be called Alexander Graham Bell. Well, that's it. We educate with what we are, neither with what we say nor with what we do. In fact, I heard a phrase there the other day, and I realized this, and that's why I'm making this reflection, because someone said, wow, dogs look like their owners. Of course, dogs don't understand, but they notice that being, and it sticks to them. Not that, because we believe that we are the human being, we believe that we are the smartest. Well, I have to say that I have a little dog that I tell him, come and go. I tell him, sit down. I say, bring me a cueco and bring me a cueco. I mean, I understand a lot of the words I say to him, and indeed he resembles my way of being. However, I can assure you that he has been yelling at me for many years and I still don't know what he says, but he understands my language and I don't understand his. I'm starting to think maybe he's smarter than me. There I leave you this reflection. Be careful with what we are with our children, because that will influence what they are going to be when they are older and we continue. And look, get into the matter with the water cleaners. We have to start talking about our equipment. This one, which is the smallest one, which is our motor pump. This motor pump, forgive me, our safe water cleaner, the safe model. The Segura model is capable of giving 175 bars of pressure and moving 684 L. I'm seeing it here on the chop, so I'm not mistaken. It is what it says on the sheet of this product. But realize one thing, in that displacement we are achieving with a 2.8 kk Pepsi engine. It's an engine we use in our Veleta team. It is an engine with Euro 5 professional for a professional water cleaner. The Genergy water cleaners are one of the equipment that we have to work on in assembly. That is our motorization, our frames with these pump bodies. One of the best manufacturers of pressure pumps, which is Anobe Reverberi, is Italian and makes this equipment really good as a quality that has been thoroughly demonstrated over time. Well, the safe one would be our first rubber motorcycle, our italic mode, the rubber motorcycles. I will apologize to our water cleaners. Then there would be the saddle. The saddle is equipment that already has a 420 cm3 engine that is 14 horsepower. In this case, it is capable of displacing up to 900 L at a pressure of 275 bar. Caution 275 bar cleaner with the red nozzle. Because it comes now, we see it here. Look, here you see it, you see 1, 2, 3, 4 to 5. It brings the nozzles. Each nozzle, one with a fan, another with a closer fan, etc. The black one, the detergent one, and the red one. It's a drilling pick, where those 275 bars align the water molecules coming out in a very fine thread. Well, just so you know, if you place your finger in front of the jet, the water will go through your finger. Okay, I'm not gonna tell you what I do in my gut. Be careful that 275 bars is a lot of water pressure. Knowing this penetration of that machine, we can do things like what we see now. Here you see a nozzle that we call a turbo cleaning nozzle. Why is it called turbo cleaning nozzle? Because we take advantage of that force of the penetration of the peak, aligning those molecules at 275 bars to penetrate into the cement within the harness that we may have in front of us. And this is very good, but in a normal job it would leave us little less than writing on the wall, making little stripes. But I want to clean. If the operator is very skilled and has the spear moving very fast, he would certainly make a feel, a work journey. This can do it for a few seconds, but not all day, right? The turbo nozzle is used for that. The turbo nozzle uses that penetration peak, but at the same time rotates it. That way I have the maximum penetration that goes around. And then when I move forward simply with the dance, I see a field of work that I am removing paint. That's why they are called turbo nozzles. Turbo nozzles have that ability. Yellow nozzles, that is fan nozzles, are spatulas, which of course do not have the same penetration. But if I'm going to clean, well, a floor is as if I were sweeping. So I'm going to go with the spatula nozzle too. If I'm cleaning paint on a body, I'm not going to use a penetration nozzle that can peel off stickers, for example, that this vehicle has, but I'm going to use a cleaning spatula, okay? That is, everything I want to do with a water cleaner has its way of working. And within these teams, we're talking about the saddle. With those 275 and 900 L, we would reach La Nartea. This equipment, which as we see it differs from the saddle that as we see it has 4 wheels, really looks like a quatch, right? It even has its brake on one of the wheels so it won't sweep down while we're working. And it is a very protected hooded equipment because it is widely used in places of, for example, rentals, jobs where companies employ different personnel with this type of machine. It is not a person who takes care of that equipment, but there are many people working with that machine. and this team has. Apart from this fairing that we see, it has something else, and that is that the start is electric, so it will be an easier start. But in all of them, without exception, both with electric start and manual start, what I told you in my previous video, open water faucet, open lance so that there is air circulation, liquid water. And starting is easy for us, and we don't break starter motors or starting pulls making the grotto is important. Let's go to accessories. Because if I'm going to wash my shower, I need a soft sponge. If I'm going to clean a tremendous pot, a tremendous pan, I need something that scrubs better. That is, to clean, we need different elements. Let's go to the elements that we would use as an accessory for our water cleaner. And here we see, in our accessories letter, on our accessories pages, you can find it. All this also within the website and in the catalog. If you want to download it, it is easy to download. Let's look at different accessories. I already told you about this, which is, as I say, the turbo nozzle, but remember we have a scrubber or floor hood for cleaning surfaces. What's a bell? Well, it does. Well, here you have it. It's 60 in diameter, so do not confuse this professional bell with these small plastic DIY bells for the garden. No, sorry. This is a bell that has 4 support wheels, as you can see, and a handle for a garage cleaner, for street cleaners. And why is it used? This bell that has a curtain, a brush around it, for what? So that those inner nozzles, that there are 3 nozzles where the 900L are divided in this case into 3 nozzles calculated so that the pressure of 275 bars is in each of the 3 nozzles. What it is doing is literally scraping the ground in constant rotation. And to avoid projections of stones that can be fired from cars onto window glass, injuring a person, etc., this bell is used. So we are going to see a cleaning corridor as seen in this image with a work boundary. This way we can be cleaning a garage or one park or whatever we want. The Verdin, the Winter East, etc. So we'll be protecting the rest. There's also how you're seeing here and in this image. Now the telescopic lance is a telescopic lance that we can reach. Has the telescopic lance 5.5 meters. You mean I can grab my spear, stretch it? If it's 5.5 meters plus my height, I'm reaching those 7 meters with my arm. So more or less 7 meters high that I can be cleaning an indoor industrial warehouse, a chicken farm, because I have changed the animals and I have to leave this clean to avoid infections. In the next liter, can I be cleaning a facade or can I be cleaning a bus? Glazed up there the whole bus with my spear. Or I could be cleaning a truck, those old tarps, etc. That is a telescopic work boom, and it's an accessory. Well, that is very much loved by users of this equipment. As you know, any spare parts at the connector level are in full. We have made a way and a form of connection. Now we will discuss this topic in detail, but first let's delve into sandblasting. Indeed, gentlemen, when we need to thoroughly remove paint from a facade, graffiti, chloro rubber from a swimming pool. In other words, when we need to be robust and strip off what we see, this method is used. Is this the case? Observe the Sanchuro here. What is sandblasting exactly? Through the hose, 900 liters and 275 bars of water molecules are discharged. Water has an effect.
Against the wall, but it's true, indeed.
I add at the end of the nozzle a exfoliating,
which is granulometry sand.
Controlled.
And this is sold in the
Gravelas is a sack.
Furthermore, I plan to put this particular bar in place. Bar we see?
Here, well, it shows an image. This bar that you are seeing here goes inside the sack. The sand is sucked in by the Venturi effect itself from the jet outlet and incorporated into that pressure, so that now the blow of the edges of those grains that are occasional edges type at the same time, you found a diamond or different shapes of microscopic cubes. Okay. I think it's 3, maybe if I remember correctly, there are different grains. They are banging against the wall, removing everything there is. That is the censuro. It is the beast cleaning to remove any graffiti, anything we want to remove from the middle. You are seeing what can be done with a pressure washer, but now we come to another accessory that is also widely used. It's usually called the rat because it's a sewer rat. It's a bottleneck, in short, to clear pipes that have been flooded by sand. Now it has been used a lot when Valencia wool, many tubes were covered by that mud. Not for that reason, and these types of elements must be used. So here we have it. Okay, let me introduce you to the sandblast here. There you see the nozzle. Okay, it carries, as we are seeing, 3 thrusters, although the image right now I see that we only see 2. There is another on the other side. There are 3 thrusters and a penetration peak with a hose. That is now that hose that carries those 275 and they are 900 L. I never get tired of saying it because these types of accessories, they must be used. It can also be used with the small one, with the safe one. But in pipes and in powers, we should go to maximum pressures due to the flow rate. Now I explain to you why it is so necessary. That does not make that large flow for cleaning pipes. And that peak that penetrates is going to penetrate the mud that is in front of it. And those thrusters make the sand that the beak has dislodged go backwards like a mole digging. If you actually let go of the hose and you're letting go, there's going to come a time when you can't get the hose out, huh? Yes, you won't be able to remove the hose because the sand that you have been dislodging backwards has left it in the same tube. And now you find that the hose you have inserted has been locked with its own sand, the hose being trapped. A good pipe cleaner already knows what he has to do. That is, release the hose, throw the hose to take the mud out with those 900 L. That is why it is important that the flow rate has removed debris, release the hose again and collect again, and so it advances meter by meter until it reaches the distance that needs to be cleaned. There are 2 types of cleaning nozzles. You have seen the Pico nozzle here. And this other nozzle that is called the well turbo nozzle, which what it does is rotate again. It carries a rotating rotor to reach the ends of the pipe. When the pipe is a little fatter, this type of rotating nozzle comes in handy. The rotary nozzle rotates and cleans the pipe at its ends. My advice, first clean with Picos. I'm cleaning, and once I have the pipe dislodged, I'm going to use the rotary nozzle. For what? To clean, say, the inner facade of the pipe, what I had left, which had not been cleaned previously with the rotary nozzle, It is not good to put it in principle at the beginning because I will have material in front of me and I will be cleaning the surroundings. And what I need now is to clean the center of the pipe. Then I will remove the thing from the walls with the rotation nozzle. That is, the 2 nozzles are necessary for pipe cleaning. Sometimes they call me and ask me, Fran, send me the nozzle, send me the pipe unclogger for cleaning. I'll send you the 2 nozzles. No, I had the 2 pipes are not necessary to do a good comprehensive cleaning of the pipe. How do we handle that Spear 1 operator? Complicated, why? Because if you place it at the tip of the work spear, this spear that we are seeing here, I have a problem, and that is that when I hit the handle, the hose advances that I have to be with this hand on the spear and with the other, no, it doesn't work. I can't be pulling, it escapes me. Sure, I need 2 operatives, one on the spear, and the other who is with his 2 little hands working, thinking about what he is doing. Well, I can use this accessory too. This is the work pedal or maneuver pedal. What allows the operator is that with his foot he puts in water flow, removes water, puts in water again. That is, with a single hand and 1 foot, he will control the entire cleaning effect. So there we have the accessory for the plunger, the pedal, very importantly the pedal. Before I forgot to tell you that with sandblasting, when we are working against a facade, the projections of the exfoliator on a normal lens on the normal lens, which is this the one of the water cleaner I am going to have, I'm going to be up against to projections of tremendous sand towards my body, towards my face, and I have to be very protected to work this way. Sure, unless I move a little further away. Yes, the telescopic boom, I will use the telescopic boom and go as far as I need, a couple of meters. It's fiberglass, it doesn't weigh. Maybe a couple of meters, maybe 1.5 meters, whatever I need. From here I'll be working that distance and I won't need to be so protected. Maybe with a simple screen of this type of metrakila type brush cutters, etc. Because you are working perfectly with glasses, cleaning the facade to clean graffiti on the public road to work. In a sandblasting on public roads, air cannot be used, which is another sandblasting method because the dust it raises is very bad for breathing. Especially because maybe a neighbor, when she sees the dust, or neighbor in good judgment, she stops you for work because she is reaching all the places. That's why when it is mixed with water, if possible, we have it in the city. What is called the sewer, that is this grid, if you lift it, you will find what is called a siphon, that is a decantation manhole that is usually filled with mud, more or less full. It depends on the cleanliness of the city council, and there is an overflow of water into the sewer because that matter heavier than water will end up there. If I am building a facade and I have that sewer on the public road, the first thing to do is remove that grate. Clean the archetil, start working. I already see that the water goes to that sewer. And from time to time, look at that sewer so as not to incorporate that sandstone into the sewer. But when I have filled the sewer, empty that sand back into a bag wherever it is cleaned, and I continue my work. This detail is also important to take into account. We have to be civil always. Is it okay that they don't need tools to place the different accessories? As you can see the same thing on our website. You will see the hose outlet, the outlet to different accessories as you are seeing here. To install any accessory very quickly, there is no need to delay. Dance with a click cloud, like the plugs from our garden when we set up the shower, the sprinkler. All these questions, because here in high pressure links, we can do exactly the same thing. We have all the spare parts. You already know that on the website there is now a place to also order spare parts. Well, that's that simple. I can't think of anything else to tell you unless you leave me the comments. Ask me the questions, I'll be happy to answer. A clarification, because I have just remembered these questions. The other day, a user told me what it was like to work with water. That is, the machine suck water from a well. No, high pressure water cleaners need water in a tank. And just because of its weight, it already works. Okay, the flow rate has to be the water supply hose, but nothing more. We don't need water pressure, but simply that there is a little pressure in the water, which can be a tank placed on top of a pallet and the water cleaner working here by its weight. Alright, here we leave it. More information and Genergy.es on this page that you are already seeing, where you see Video Limpiadoras and all our products. Download a catalog, technical sheets, etc. And the doubt, always resolved with questions to our phones, to our emails, to me, to my colleagues. We will be happy to help you, and remember, it is forbidden to stop learning.